All right. And if I might ask, where did you go last night?
Um, and he says, "Home."
Oh, all right then. I'm not going to push it too much because, yeah. All right, so we'll guess we'll follow along.
Old John does things because reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, all right, so when you set off towards the falls, Old John leads the way. Um, there's a road which leads to the northeast. It's not raining anymore. The rain has ended. However, it's fairly windy and fairly cool in the morning. So the road goes straight and over a bridge which crosses the river produced by the falls.
Okay.
Once you cross the cobblestone bridge, a trail with a sign which reads Thunder Road Capital, pointing this way, continues along down the road. However, you see the remains of some kind of trail which leads to the mountains. That's where Old John goes. Down this kind of, makeshift trail. The ground is rocky and uneven. You must stop and leap down to lower areas of rock and step up, natural stone steps at other times.
Is old John like particularly slow, or is he fairly nimble for his age?
He's fairly nimble for his age.
Okay. So it's nothing like aggravating or anything like that.
You can move faster than he can, but
Obviously, but it's not like follow me, and he's like,
no. Old John is spry for his age.
Okay, all right, good, yeah. Otherwise, I
Yeah.
think Walzer would have a bit of an issue with him going slow, especially since he's like came bustling in saying that we're going to burn daylight if we don't get going and all that sort of stuff. But I don't think I'd have a problem with it if he's going. If it looks like he's going as fast as he can, then that's really all that matters.
He's going as fast as he can, and yeah, you nearly you almost trip on one area, and he didn't, kind of thing. So
Okay.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, sure.
He's doing fine. Alistair, can you tell me what spells you prepare for the day?
Yeah, well, I was as we're kind of hiking, I come to realize, well, since old John kind of woke us up, I might have to ask, what time would it be about now? Probably getting towards. How long have we been hiking?
No, you're not hiking very much. You can still see the village, so.
Oh, okay, all right. I have to ask old John if that we might stop sometime at midday, just so at least I can prepare some spells. And also, I'm a little worried about old John because it looks like he's kind of, really, he's, really gunning it. So I'm gonna ask if we might have a break, or at least, sometime soon.
No breaks.
Agreed.
I'm kind of screwed, aren't I?
Well, you come to a more defined path which leads up into the mountains proper. The path is flanked on either side by high juts of basically walls of brown stone, and old John just guns his way starts going up the path, and it's almost like a 45-degree incline at some parts, and just kind of weaves back and forth, up and up and up, and 4 hours pass in this manner.
Far out.
Hanging up the hill. And at the top of the hill, old John leans against, sits down on a rock. He's like, all right, time for a break.
All right. Almost immediately I'll start sitting down and beginning to prepare spells. Hopefully I'll maximize the time that I can.
Sure.
During
right.
this time, I guess I would take a look at my Lucerne to make sure that it's cleaned and oiled, because I didn't get the chance to do that after the battle last night.
All right, you can do it now. Something I want to mention, I did give you toughness values for your hammer, right?
I don't have it here. No, I do not have it. I have weight, speed.
That's it. I'm
Yeah.
gonna have you write that down at the end. I'll look that up right quick.
Okay.
It's not a big deal. You've lost 2 points or something out of over 100.
Right. And there's no way for me as a blacksmith to maintain weapons better?
Yeah, you can by oiling it and keeping it in working condition. You're not basically that reduces the basically it gives one back,
Okay.
but it can only give one back at a time. If you go to repair it, you can do more.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do much more on the road like that.
Is there any like diminishing values as it gets lower in?
Yeah, it can be. It's got a greater chance of breaking on like a bad critical miss, but you're nowhere in that territory.
Okay, great. As more preventative measures than anything else at this point. That's what I'm trying to keep up.
Yeah, you look at it, you can't tell the difference.
All right, excellent. I just
All right.
make sure there's all the muck and stuff is.
Yeah. Oh, certainly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you washed it in the river when you passed it.
I don't know if I would wash it, but like I would oil it and
Get the
and
gunk
stuff.
off. Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay. So, Alistair, what are those spells?
It'll be the same as yesterday, so it'll be I'll prepare the cantrips and the magic missile.
I look at Alistair when he's doing this, and I'm like, levitate, please.
Well, Alistair, remember you can memorize each of your spells once, or any combination at spell level that you can cast. So you can prepare detect magic also. You can prepare all three.
All right.
Or you can prepare cantrips and 2 magic missiles. Or
Well, yeah. Detect magic at this point in time, I think perhaps more offense will be needed if we're certainly hunting these creatures. So I might prepare, 2 magic missiles and then a cantrip. The various cantrips, yeah.
yeah, various cantrips. Okay, that's fine. Well, when you're at the top now, basically when you're taking this break, you look off the side and you see the sprawling farmlands of Wyvern Falls underneath you. You spy the river produced by the falls flows to the south around the woods and through the hill country through which you came. To the east, you see a large lake with mountains across from it, and around the north side and back to this side. Looking out to the west reveals basically a parallel mountain range. And if you look at I've got a picture here if you'd like to see.
Yeah.
That's fine. It's basically the scene you're looking at. You're taking a break. Yeah, it's that kind of grass with rocks all about and more mountains off in the distance.
Are we that high that there's actually snow up here?
No, that's kind of that's an illusion. You're not that high.
Okay, all right, yeah, sure, no worries.
But yes, there is snow at the top of those mountains, but you're kind of in the middle area of the mountains.
All right, no worries, just checking.
Yeah.
I was about to say 4 hours, man. Whew, we went up that mountain.
I think because it's rocky and that the 4 hours is spent kind of like doing up the winding track instead of kind of like a clear thing.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
So the path continues further north along the path of the river, basically going along with the river that's at the top here, and Old John is blazing the trail once again. Let's see. Walzer, I need trouble sense.
Okay. Let's take a look here. Trouble sense for me is that is wisdom, so D20 and then under 7, is that right?
Yep.
Boom.
Nice.
Yes. You get a bad feeling about this area as basically there is basically the river. The path leads through the river. Perhaps horses are meant to ford this river, but it's too wide to jump across, and it seems too rapid in order to try to swim across. Basically when you're looking around for maybe a tree or something to lay across the path, you see several tracks.
Tracks. Okay. Without giving too much away, are they big, small?
There are small humanoid tracks. There's actually 2 kinds. There's small humanoid tracks that have 5 toes that are about the size of the palm of your hand. That's about how big they are. The second set of tracks are much larger than humanoid tracks, and there are 3 toes on one end, and then another toe coming out the back.
Is it like a... So, it's kind of like a bird footprint?
Could be, possibly.
Okay.
You're not quite sure. I don't see any. You're not familiar. Animals aren't really your forte.
I turned to Alistair and I'm like, looks like them cassowaries are loose again. Don't say that.
How deep is the footprint? Like, is it very heavily indented or is it very light?
Because of the rain last night, it seems fresh, like it happened earlier today. And other than that, it seems like as far as deep depth, not particularly. But they appear to go straight towards the river, and from what you can see, they continue past the river. Like whatever happened, whoever's doing this either crossed the river somehow or otherwise went through the river.
Does the river look shallower in that region, that area?
You're just kind of going across it, so not particularly. John is kind of looking around at this point. He sees the tracks because you're looking at them, and he kind of looks across, and he says, Well, old John doesn't really have much either. He says, well, what do you think? You got that levitate spell?
Yeah, I look at Alistair with, like, hopeful eyes glistening in the sun.
I'm looking at the tracks, and I'm just like, sorry lads, no levitate. But what in the world could be up here with us? I mean, it looks like these are fresh.
All sorts of mountain creatures would live up here, I assume.
Old John will look at these and he says, and he knows, yeah. And he looks at them, he gets down, he kind of puts his hand next to them, and he says, goblins.
Goblins. Yeah.
Vile beasts.
Goblins of the red hand is what they call themselves in our tongue.
Why red hams?
Hands.
The logic.
Hands, Walter. Hands.
The logic of goblins is a mystery.
Yeah, so it would make more sense if they talked about hams. All they do is steal pigs.
The red hams.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you've already gone through all your rations today, Walter.
So I'm curious here, Graham. If I had survival, because I forgot to like even get anything for my character before we started. If I had survivalism, what would seeing tracks actually allow me to do with that skill?
Not really anything. Tracking is more what you're looking for.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, looking around, is there anything like? Is there like trees close by? Is there anything that we can sort of like? So the current is fast, right? And there's nothing further up the river that we can go to in order to find like maybe like a lull in like the current or something like that.
Well, would you like to investigate?
How much time do you think it would take
to investigate further up the path? Well, you're not sure. I mean, you don't know how far the river could go. It probably goes all the way to the top.
I turned to old John and I'm like, you seem to know this area well, old man. What's further north of the river?
He says, never been this high before. And he says, I couldn't tell you.
All right. So I guess we have to continue up the river. This is just far too unsafe to cross. Unless you feel like starting again and climbing the mountain once more. I certainly don't. And then I start trudging down, following the river upstream even further.
Upstream?
Yep.
Okay. Old John will look at Alistair and then he'll follow Walter.
I might quickly scoot over to the side of the river just to check, because the river is flowing, but they've obviously crossed somehow. Whether or not they flew, I'm not too sure, but maybe there might be some kind of way across that we can't immediately see. So I might, get a bit closer to try and find something out there.
Um, well, there are certainly kind of a few rocks protruding from the river. Perhaps a more dexterous creature would be able to jump across, but you think it would be much too dangerous to try to hop across.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that in mind, continue up. I'll continue up with the others.
And the further you go up, the further you follow the river, the more level the grade gets. So it becomes flatter and flatter as you go, and you eventually make your way to a basically a natural. The flatter it gets, the easier the current gets, I guess is what I meant to say.
Yeah, makes sense.
And you make your way up and up and up, and eventually you're able to find a spot where you could walk across on the rocks and with no danger of being swept into the current or anything. And old John will kind of take his pitchfork and he'll kind of tap the rocks and try to push them and see if they're stable or not. And then he'll say, well, he'll look at Walzer and he'll say, ladies first.
I turn back to old John as a shit before shovel.
And old John will laugh at that, actually. The first time you've seen old John laugh.
Yeah. Does he go first?
And he'll say,
okay.
and he'll go first.
Yeah.
Yeah. He'll go first. He'll make his way across. He's going to make a check, though.
Old John dies in the river. Okay.
But old John does fall in the river. And he will slip and he will sploosh into the kind of ease of the river and he will get all wet.
I'll just start laughing at him and it's like, all that hustle and bustle and you couldn't climb over a few rocks.
Oh, sure.
How's the ankle-deep water?
But, yeah, well, it seems a bit deeper than that, but old John will swim the rest of the way over to the other side.
Yeah. I just imagine him like taking off his clothes over the other side and he's like fucking ripped as shit and stuff and with okay, so I'm gonna try get across the rocks, I guess.
Dexterity check.
Damn. I pass. I pass.
Yep. So Alistair, you see Walzer walk briskly across the top of the rocks and step on the other side.
All right. Well, I might just try my hand at that as well. All right. So that's a dexterity check.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Oof.
I think that passes.
What is your dex?
I'm trying to get across as well.
Yeah, you do. You walk deftly across, and you almost fall in, but no, you don't, and you make the old John is there. He's kind of he's just kind of looking at himself. He can't really do much about it.
Does he have like long hair?
No, he's got almost no hair.
Okay, I walk up to John and I'm like, well, at least you smell better now, and then I'll keep walking.
You keep walking. He looks to Alistair and he says, "Where do you find that one?"
I don't have a clue, to be honest. I'll reply. He's a
This little bro sure knows how to pick them.
Yeah, it certainly seems so.
Yeah.
But at least he can walk the walk.
Yes, he will trudge after Walzer.
Mm.
Walzer, you walk basically the path. A path continues, and the tracks pick up again. But this time they're moving. Basically, they move across your path, left to right. Basically, you're walking further down the river. You kind of walk through a wall of rocks that's got like a path that goes through it. So you're walking through there, and then this set of tracks that looks identical to the other set of tracks passes left to right across.
Okay, so the track we're on, is that like a walking path? Like, is it well worn?
Now, on the picture here, you can see it's kind of it's not grassed.
It's just not grass. It's not like well worn or anything like that.
Right. No, I mean, it's if anything, it's you're not even sure it's a path. It's just kind of the way it looks. Looks like a path, so that's what you're following it.
Okay. All right.
What's up?
Yeah. So, the tracks, do they get fresher the further we go in?
Certainly, yes.
Okay. All right. I looked down at my feet and I was like, I don't understand these goblins. Why they run around like crazy idiots?
Well, maybe the goblins are having problems with the creatures. If we follow these tracks, we maybe could. Whether or not they'd like to ask us or be able to have conversation is another thing altogether. But it might be worth checking out.
Old John will come up behind you and he says, "Do you hear that?" And you guys listen, and you hear what appears to be shouting,
Is
like
it
high-pitched shouting.
okay? All right. Which direction is it coming from, roughly?
To the right.
To the right. Is it off the track?
Basically this kind of path, basically following the tracks is where the noise is coming from.
All right. Well, I'll continue to follow the tracks. I don't think I'd go off the tracks to investigate a noise. I mean, I'm not here for goblin petty stuff. And
Well, the path and the tracks go in the same direction is what I mean.
yeah, that's fine.
Towards the shouting.
Yeah, I'd keep going in the same direction then.
Fine.
Mhm.
All right. When you come across walls, or you come across what appears to be 100-foot deep, 70-foot wide clearing, and in the middle of this volleyed clearing are a set of ruins, stone ruins. Okay. As you move to get a closer look, as you're walking towards them, you see that amongst the ruins are 7 figures. On the ground, prostrating towards a raised stone stage, are 3 armored and armed goblins. Green-skinned, mottled goblins. Their armor clinks and clanks quietly as they bow up and down. On the stage, is a 4th goblin in a basically hair wispy black in a crazed, kind of disheveled manner. That goblin is wearing a bright electric purple robe that shimmers in the light as he moves back and forth. One eye, that goblin is basically shouting to the heavens in some language I don't think any of you can speak. The goblin's right hand is holding a length of wood a foot taller than it is, a staff of some sort, goblin-sized. The goblin's left hand is holding a thick iron chain that's coiled around his forearm. The chain at the other end is leashed to the neck of a green-scaled monstrous lizard creature.
Is it similar to the lizards that we fought before?
It's exactly similar.
Alright.
A pony saddle has been awkwardly affixed to its back, and the beast is sitting behind the goblin on the granite dais on a bed of straw and cloth scraps.
Motherfucker.
The remaining 2 figures in the scene are 2 more wyvernlings, which appear rather angry as they have been relegated to a iron bear cage on the stage.
All right. Is there anything like? Okay, so you said it's a clearing. Is it a grassy clearing?
It's a grassy clearing. There are a few scattered trees, mostly rocks. There are rocks near you and rocks on the other end.
Okay. How windy is it?
Fairly windy. It's hard to. You can't make out the words that they're saying. You know he's shouting, but it is. It's whooshing wind.
All right. Here's what I want to do.
Right,
I want to
we
go
got high winds,
upwind.
Have they noticed us, or are they kind of still focused on their ritual?
Yeah, they're focused. Yeah, old John will get down so they can't see him.
Okay. All right. I turn to the group and I'm like, well, this is a great time to maybe burn these fools out of what they're doing. I don't particularly want to fight them.
I can take an. Could I be able to take an anthropology check to take a look at the ruins, see if I can determine anything?
Good.
Yes and no. You can make an anthropology check to know something about the goblins, but the ruins you would have to get closer to.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I'll check the goblins, see if there's anything that I can maybe remember from studies.
Yep. Your study of cultures, yes.
All right. So it's just a 20, just a
Yeah.
usual 20, and then against my
14.
intelligence?
Yeah.
14, yeah, yeah. All right.
Damn.
Damn.
Alright.
All right.
The only thing you know about goblins is they are as diverse and different as communities of humans.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I look at the other two and I'm like, well, what do you think? Do you think we should just start a fire on these things?
Well, they certainly seem to be involved with the creatures, since they've got that one with a saddle on it, and the other two are in the cages.
I know it's disgusting, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Are they? It's strange. Are they responsible for the attacks, or maybe they're doing something about it? We're
Well,
not
do
too
you
sure
want to
at this
just walk
stage.
up and ask them? There's no way of knowing. These things are armed, and that one there is clearly a magic user. Or attempting to be one.
Old John, do you remember how? Yeah, I haven't had too much dealings with goblins in the cities, but and I can't remember any coming to our farm. Have you have any memory of this, Old John? Of
Um,
goblins?
says, yes, I'm afraid so.
All right.
Yeah, as a young boy, we would have run-ins with the red hand goblins. They usually live further in the mountains, but like me and I don't recall, Alistair. What happened to your father? He was killed with the plague, right?
Yes, yes, he
Yeah.
was.
So old John says yes. Me and your father and Dave, David, Fat John's father, and I, we would basically, as young boys, protect Wyvern Falls from the Red Hand.
So then I turned back to him and was like, so you have no problem with me burning this side of the mountain down to kill these freaks, would you?
And practically rats, as far as I'm concerned.
Fantastic, let's do it. I'm just looking at them expectantly. I'm just like, they're not going to sit there forever. We have to make a decision.
All right. Yep.
All right. So
I don't know. It's tough. I think we could attempt some communication, but we would be giving up the
well, do you
surprise.
speak the language?
No, actually, good thinking.
So I want to try and sneak around the clearing, Graham, up until we're above, like upwind of them, and I wish to create a roarous fire if at all possible.
All right, now what are you planning to do? The grasses are fairly the grasses are fairly long. You could probably start a pretty good sized fire with the grasses, but the wind would certainly help. But if anything, the fire would spread towards you if you were upwind.
I guess it'd be downwind then, I guess, wouldn't it?
Okay, going downwind, that's fine.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
Sorry, you're right. First
Yeah.
thing you said.
I was like, really? Okay.
Sorry, I was for some reason I was thinking upriver and
Yeah, no worries. It's fine.
Yeah. So okay,
Yeah.
that's fine. Okay. So
There's two things I can
you
do. I have flint and steel, and I also have a fire building.
your fire building skill.
Proficiency,
Yeah, certainly. And you will certainly need the fire building skill with this amount of wind
Mm-hmm.
in order to start it. But you're able to get over there without a problem because of the high winds and the sounds,
Perfect.
and they're not particularly paying attention. So what do you do, Alistair?
I'm thinking about. I won't take any immediate action. I'm just watching Walzer. I'm also thinking about how we can work this to my advantage. So I don't do anything immediate, but I just get myself ready. But yeah.
I turn to Walzer and I say, if you want to help, you can get some kindling, as much as you can. Dry wood also
Kindling.
helps.
Hmm.
Any loose, dry ground, leaves, grass, anything you can get to help make this fire burn quickly.
I think with the wind, the grass will spread quick enough.
Or it needs
my friend. I think you want.
All right, fine, yeah.
Besides, well, so we don't want this fire to burn too long. Remember, we need to still get out of here. We don't want to have to live in an inferno, do we?
I think we'll be fine upwind. All right, so I want to go